Good morning. Today we are starting our Dr.Live 41st episode, and today is a great day because we have Dr. Divi, uh, Dr. Priya Duggal is with us. Sorry about that. And we have our guest Biju will be join soon, and our welcome speech Sajid Koyaji here, and Jidin will be here for vote of thanks. And I welcome Sajid Koyaj to say the welcome speech for the meeting today. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Hope that the COVID situation is getting better, and I've seen the schedule of different schedules of opening up of all the facilities. Hope that everything goes well. Thank you for joining the 41st Dr.Live program. Thank you, Korean and his team, for organizing this. This has been going on for several months. As you know, this is the 41st episode. And today we have with us Dr. Priya Duggal. Thank you, Dr. Priya, for accepting this invitation and agreeing to join us in spite of your busy schedule. And especially the weather is pretty nice, so this is the time to be out there. But my wife Sabita was telling me today that yesterday, since I'm actually right now at Dubai, so I'm missing the action there. So I was told that the weather is fluctuating quite a bit. Just to give you a background of Dr. Priya, she is from Delhi. She has a background of modern medicine or allopathic medicine back in India. And in Canada, she switched over to modern medicine, to naturopathy. So I guess naturopathy is a better option. So, and which we don't know too many details about it. Many people are quite ignorant about it. So this is a great opportunity for you to enlighten us on the field of naturopathy. Dr. Priya is married to Dr. Iqbal, who is from Kerala. So there's a little bit of a Keralite connection. And Dr. Priya, hopefully you will understand at least a bit of, she understands Malayalam, I know, but probably she can't speak in Malayalam. So I'm not taking much of the time. I also encourage the rest of the speakers. I believe Yogesh is in the call, who will be chairing the meeting. Sanjay, thank you, Sanjay, for handling all the techie part of it. You have always been the energy behind the whole thing. So I'll hand over the mic to Dr. Priya.
Thank you so much, Sajib Bhai. It's a pleasure to be with all of you today here. And thank you to Brampton Malayali Samuham. I mean, it's a huge undertaking you guys have been doing for the past 41 weeks or 42 weeks. And thank you all of you to join during this COVID time. The humanity is facing the challenge, and especially my heart goes to all of those of you who are in Kerala at this moment. Lots of prayers and blessings for all of you. A little bit about naturopathic medicine and about myself. I was trained as a medical doctor in India, and then after moving to Canada, I switched to naturopathic medicine. And that switch was a detour for me. It wasn't planned. I didn't know anything about naturopathic medicine. But sometimes detours in life are blessings. And for me, naturopathic medicine is such a blessing. I consider it as I have added more tools in my toolbox so that I can serve my patients better. Naturopathic medicine has opened for me a broader mindset of looking at health and wellness. And I consider myself half Malayali, and I believe I qualify for that because I've been married to a Malayali for past more than 2 decades, and I know a lot about Malayali culture, more about Malayali culture than Punjabi probably. And I can't, there are a few words I can understand in Malayalam, but not, and I definitely can't speak Malayalam. So I begin the presentation for today is mind-body connection to health and illness. And it's a humongous topic. Dr. Google has a lot of information about and advises about how to keep your physical, mental, and spiritual health in place. I'm not here for any advices. The whole intention for me to present this is so that there is a catalyst, me being a catalyst, or this presentation being a catalyst for you all, so that there is an insight of how can we change, or how can we look inside of ourselves and change ourselves if need be. And the other intention of this presentation is to hold a mirror to our stress-driven society, and how our modern culture and modernity and urbanization has added to the burden of chronic illnesses in our society. So I will start the screen share. Question answers are welcome at the end of the presentation. And I'm mindful of the time. It's a humongous topic and I love talking about it, but I'll stick to the time, hopefully. And the admin team, please let me know if I'm going over time. I love to begin my presentations with grounding. And I invite you all to join me in the grounding so that we all can be in this present moment. Actually, I would like to see your faces, and I'm just adjusting my screen so that I can have a look at you and I stay connected with you all. I got it. Yeah. All right, so let's begin the grounding. Sit comfortably and at ease. Drop your shoulders, relax your muscles. If it feels safe, close your eyes and connect to your breath. There's no need to change the breath. Sense the chest rising and falling with each in-breath and out-breath. Now bring your awareness to any thoughts or emotions which are arising in this present moment. Again, without judging them or wishing them away, just a neutral observer. Now bring your awareness to the physical sensations in the body. Perhaps begin from your feet. If you're sitting on a chair, feel your feet on the ground. And notice if there is any tingling, numbness, hot or cold sensation, any tension anywhere. Bring your awareness to your knees. Perhaps you can sense the bend in your knees as you're sitting, or the clothing on your knees. Bring your attention to your buttocks, and lower back. If there's any tension anywhere, take some deep breaths in that space and stay connected to your body. Now bring your attention to your upper back and shoulder area. That's where most of us hold tension. So take some deep breaths in that area. Bring your attention to the scalp and the face and relax all the muscles. Perhaps put a smile on your face if it's available to you in the moment. And now bring your attention to the heart area. Notice if there's any physical sensation in this area. Keeping this connection with your mind, your thoughts, your emotions, and your body. Whenever you feel ready at your own time and pace, if you had your eyes closed, gently open them and look at the screen. Connect to the faces you see on the screen. During COVID time, we are not able to connect with each other. And attempt to, have that connection as we hold the space for each other during this presentation. Thank you so much for joining me in the grounding. And now I begin my presentation. Next slide. Yeah. The topic for today is mind-body connection. And what does it really mean, mind-body connection? Traditional cultures and ancient people had already knew. They knew that wisdom, that our minds are connected to the bodies, and we can't isolate or separate the mind from the body. our environments, our work, our love, our relationships, how we conduct our life in day to day, it affects our body. It's modernity or urbanization, which unfortunately has created the divide. We we consider ourselves, or modern living consider ourselves a separate entity from the body, and that's where the disconnects is leading to the burden of chronic illnesses in our society. Mind body connection is more relevant to chronic illnesses. Let's say you come to my clinic and you had an ankle sprain for the first time. It could be an accident, it could be a sport injury, and I don't have to go into mind body illness. But if you are coming with the recurrent complaint of, let's say, ankle sprain or chronic backache, or you're having frequent sore throats, fever, or not feeling well frequently, it would be a disservice if I don't ask you what's happening in your life. How's your work? Do you enjoy it? Are you okay with your relationships? Do you have stressors? And we do have stressors in our life. But the thing is, we normalize or minimize these things. Specifically in conditions like fibromyalgia, chronic pain, autoimmune conditions like rheumatoid arthritis, multiple sclerosis, and so on and on. Chronic mind-body connection has a big role to play. Let's go to the next slide. Yeah. This is a very common thing which I hear. Genes. I have inherited the genes. So, it is coming, it's in my destiny, and I'm gonna get it. So the take-home message I would like to share with all of you is, you may have inherited the genes, but you have not inherited the disease. And let me explain you how is it. Just considering genes as a major contribution to someone having a chronic illness is a very narrow mindset. If you're first of all, let's look at a bee family. There is a science called as, one second, I just clicked the slide. Yeah. There is science called as epigenetics, which means epi means on top of genes. And what is on top of genes is our environment, again, how we conduct our lives. And this epi is what either activates the gene or either suppresses it. Let's look at a bee family. How does a queen bee is not genetically different from the drones. It's one trigger or the need of the beehive to have a queen bee that it becomes bigger and it's activated. The gene is activated. The same way with our families. Not all siblings, even though both the parents had diabetes, high blood pressure, coronary artery disease, or cancer runs in the family, not that all the siblings would have cancer, diabetes. So what happens to some people? Why is it that some people with frank findings, they escape? And the thing here is, there has been seen in research that people had MRI findings and people had MRI findings of demyelination, which is loss of myelination of the sheath of spinal cord, or the CNS, central nervous system, which happens in multiple sclerosis. So it was found in autopsies and MRIs that there were people who had this demyelination, but they did not have the disease. Same with Alzheimer's. There were plaques, or there are plaques which are seen in people's brain on autopsies, but they never had symptoms of Alzheimer's. So what happens to us? That why is that some people who have these frank pathological findings, they escape the development of disease while others do not? What I have understood from naturopathic medicine and from being with the body is that our thoughts, the way we our being, the way we perceive the world, it has a lot to do with the manifestation of the disease. Is it something else? Yeah. Let's go to the next slide. The immune system. Our immune system is body's defense mechanism. Its fundamental role is to protect or distinguish what is itself and what's the other self. And the major organs of immune system are tonsils, your thymus, and your gut. 80 to 90% of your immune system stays in your gut. In naturopathic medicine, in Ayurveda, it's always told start from the gut. That's where the healing begins. Gut is also your second brain in the body. I would love to emphasize the thymus gland here, which is located in the center of your chest. It's located in the heart chakra, and thymus is the one which activates the killer cells and the body's immune system to kill any bacteria, virus, or any cancerous or tumorous growth in the body. Even in autoimmune conditions like rheumatoid arthritis, the self-defense starts from the thymus gland. And as I was talking, that this is the heart chakra, which is in the center of your body. And below it is your heart, your cardiovascular. Below it is the breast, right? And then comes the thymus. The role of heart chakra, when a heart chakra is balanced, we give and receive love. We give to others, plus we receive as well. Culturally, since childhood, we are always told to serve others, help others. But at the same time, we should be okay to receive help, to ask for help when needed. And we are as important as the other one is. We need to prioritize ourselves as well. It has been seen in studies and research that people who had, and I'll come to that later, people who have more autoimmune conditions, breast cancer, and in other cardiovascular conditions, they are very nice people. They can't say no to anyone. They can't, they live for others. I know the word pavam in Malayalam. And that word itself is a red flag. If you know anybody who is pavam and doesn't speak for himself or herself, educate or share this with them. We need to, we are in this world, we are as much as for ourselves as we are for others. Because it's the imbalance of the heart chakra that all these conditions are triggered, if you look at mind-body medicine aspect of it. And the other thing is there is a term called as psychoneuroimmunology. Psycho means the mind, neuro means the nervous system, and then immunology is your immune system, which means your mind has an influence on your immune system and your nervous system. They all work together. Our thoughts with thoughts, and a human mind has more than 1,000 thoughts in a blink of an eye. So when the thoughts, we secrete chemicals, it activates the nervous system, which secretes chemicals which can either be harmful to us or it can serve us. And not that we talk about positive thinking and all that, which is great, but sometimes we have some unconscious beliefs and patterns which we are not aware of. So we don't let the sadness, the fear, the anger be there and say it's not, I'm positive, which is fantastic. But at the same time, it's human to feel the sadness, human to feel the anger, the fear. And if we don't let it have the space and we cover it with our coping mechanisms, those emotions are suppressed in the body, and the body keeps a score of all of it. And our body speaks to us in the language of symptoms. It has an intuitive wisdom in itself, only that if we allow ourselves to be still and listen to it. Our immune system is a powerful barometer to how connected we are to our life's purpose. We can have a well-paying job, a status in the community, busy schedules and outward success, but our immune system will let us know if we are really living our truth or not. In autoimmune conditions, the immune system is at a war with its own self. And as I said earlier, it's mostly seen, it has been observed that in people who have autoimmune conditions, they tend to be very nice. They don't say no, it's others first. There are factors which affect immune system. Of course, our diet, our lifestyle, the chemicals, environmental toxins, the pesticides, they do affect our immune system. Hereditary factors play a role too. You maybe have, if you have those hereditary factors where you inherit the genes, as I said earlier, your immune system may be suppressed, but we can work on it. There are some unconscious beliefs and patterns which run our lives. And let's have a look at it. Yeah. Limiting beliefs are the unconscious internal stressors. We all perceive stress in a different way. Something which is stressful for me may not be stressful for you. And how we perceive stress comes from our beliefs, unconscious, of course, which we form in early formative years of our life. That's in early childhood. I have formed by the time a child is 3 or 4 years of age, they have formed their worldview, and we conduct ourselves from that worldview. And these are the internal stresses which are leading our lives. As I said, personality traits like overly pleasing, even dominative personalities, competitive personalities. And why is it so? How, if you just think about it, what kind of person would like to dominate others? Someone who in his core believes that he doesn't have the power. Competitive. Human beings we have been hunters and gatherers. We have lived in small villages and packs all our lives since the species came to this planet. It's only I believe couple of hundreds of years with urbanization that we are living in isolated or a nuclear family life. And what happened with urbanization is the corporate society or the corporate world brings in competitiveness in us, which is not our true nature. Our true nature is cooperation. We are an interdependent species, and even among ourselves, we feel best when we are with each other and supporting each other and not against each other. Again, emotional repression. As a kid, when a kid throws tantrum, and we all know a small kid does throw tantrum, but as we grow up, we are told not to do that. It's not okay to be angry. Mind your language, mind it. So it's all repressed down and it just stays in the body. Again, resignation. It's how it is, it's my destiny. I have no role in it. We have a bigger role in it when it comes to our health and wellness. We are a part of it and we co-create it. Non-assertiveness, not able to stand up or speak for ourselves. Person who is easily angered, or the reverse of it would be someone who suppresses anger. And there's always an unmet need under anger. So whenever the anger comes in, what is it that I need? And most of times in my practice or in my own life, I have seen when I'm upset, there's a need for rest, there's a need for a break, there's a need for a holiday or something like that. So just be with it for some time and say, hey, what is it that I need now in this moment? Because all these limiting beliefs, they hurt our bodies. Not asking for help, rejecting praise. We always told, don't show off, don't be a big mouth, stay humble, which is very good. But at the same time, acknowledge what you have done, acknowledge your accomplishments. Know that you have been working hard. I have seen that lots and I have also immigrated to Canada a few years ago. We forget how hard or how much effort we have put to do that. And we underplay ourselves. So acknowledge it. Acknowledge that you have done a lot of hard work in your life. And what happens is when we acknowledge it, we give ourselves the compassion of taking rest. We can rest and relax. Saying yes to everything. If you're saying yes to everything, your yes doesn't mean anything. we are so autopilot or on auto mode. Even whenever anyone asks you, how are you doing today? We just say, I'm fine, all is good, we're doing good. Again, when that question is asked, just be with yourself for a moment and feel it, and go in your body and your being and see how are you really feeling inside. There are we have limited amount of energy and time in our days. If we say yes to everything, what we really want to do may not be up there. We won't be able to do it. So when we say no to certain things, we are able to do things which we really want to do. And that's what I would love to emphasize here. Putting your needs on hold. I'm not important, others' needs are more important. And all this really applies to women more. Women have a PhD in, I wouldn't say self-sabotage, but they to serve others. Culturally, we are raised to serve, and it would be selfish if we ask for certain things. So I'm specifically talking to females here to be more assertive, procrastinating important tasks, trying to be perfect. If I make mistakes, I'll be rejected. It's really bad. It's human to make mistakes, and allow yourself to make mistakes. It's okay if you mess up. Give yourself that permission. Let me go to the next slide. Stress. With COVID, the pandemic going on, and even in the lives which we all were living, stress is a common thing which we all talk about. Stress, the word came from an engineering term. And why do you see a rubber band here is, it's an analogy to say, it's if you stretch this rubber band beyond what it can handle, it will burst or it will break up. The same thing applies to us. If there's overwhelming demands beyond which we can function, that's stress. And when it comes to stress, it is the major stressors of life which we, again, those isolated events like, let's say, death of a loved one, or a sudden unemployment, or a marriage breakup. These are those big isolated events which are considered stressful. That would be a very narrow mindset to just say that stress. How about it's that chronic low level of insidious stress in our lives that is damaging to the bodies, which means commuting to work. How much time is it taking on the road for me to in the traffic? That's stressful. Difficult mortgage, expenses of life, financial hardships, our relationships with our kids, our families, our extended families, the workplace atmosphere. All these are chronic stressors, low level stressors of life, which keep adding up. And these are the ones which are more harmful to us. And again, how one responds to stress is a matter of personal history. As I was talking before, we all have made a worldview and how I should be in the world. So even being work alcoholic, relentless, self-driven existence, that there's an unconscious belief to be like that. Imagine when you were born on the first day, did you say, oh, I'm here on the planet and I'm going to work like anything? I'm going to achieve all this. It's good. Achievements are fantastic. But if they're driven by something, and as I sit with my patients and work on beliefs like that, the calmness or the core belief which most of the human beings I have seen is always a belief, it's not enough, I need to do more, I'm not good enough. And that belief could be challenged. In somewhere in our childhood or infancy, we made that belief about ourselves. No infant or no 2-day-old says, hey, I need to achieve this. When we are spontaneous, playing, and when we feel the expansion in ourselves, that's our true self. But if we are doing something and it's stressing us up, that's not our true self. That's the unconscious belief which is going on in us. For those who are habituated, like type A, oh, I like to work all the time. I can't sit and relax. For those habituated to high levels of internal stress since early childhood, it's the absence of stress that creates boredom. They're bored, and there is sense of meaninglessness. There is no meaning to my life, is when you're habituated to that amount of work. If any of you has a pet with you at home, or if you observe a pet, they eat, they play around, and they sleep. Would you say to a pet, hey, what meaning do you have in your life, or you're useless here? So why is it that humans are so driven that we have to keep doing all the time? We are human beings. Being means you enjoy it, just be. You enjoy the sunset, you enjoy the sunrise. You're here. Life is a gift given to us. We weren't sent on the planet saying, hey, you have to do all that work on it. The Creator, He created a beautiful planet, if you believe in that, and He said, go, I have given you the gift of life. But with our urbanization, our modern lives, we have become human doings. We need to do all the time. Something has to be done. And that's our stressor. Universally, there are, I'm going to go to the next slide. Underlying any stress, there are three factors. There is an uncertainty, there's lack of information, and there's loss of control. And we are seeing this in COVID, We don't know when it will end. We don't have, there are so many different theories going around. Don't know what is it about. And then there is no control. It is stressful. As humans, we spend a lot of our energy to control our environment, our work, our relationships, our finances. And we have an illusion that we have controlled and figured out everything. Well, the pandemic has shown to us that we are not in charge. We are not in control. To be okay with the unknown is allowing ourselves to be human, to not know what is there. And this uncertainty, lack of information, loss of control is what a person with chronic illness experiences in life, which adds to the stress. The next picture, I love this picture, and it's of, one sec, where is my, I have this, I'll go through, sorry for that. This picture is of a deer. This deer, Peter Levine, who works on trauma, and he has a book called The Waking Tiger. And he talks about how animals and all other species, they have an inherent capacity to shake off the stress. This deer which you see in the picture was attacked by a tiger. And what he's doing in the picture now is he escaped it, got lucky this time, and he's shaking it off. We do that if you have a dog or a pet at home, whenever they shake themselves several times in a day. But in humans, we don't have an inherent capacity to shake the stress. Let's say something major happened in our life, it stays in our body. In traditional cultures, let's say if there is a death of a loved one, or if you lost someone, and as I said, we lived in groups, we lived in small villages, there was a community, and we would share our feelings, we would give the time for grief to gently release from our bodies. But again, with the urgency of time and the false notion that we have to appear courageous and strong, we keep all this in our bodies and we don't shake it off. Traditionally, this is how humans used to shake it off. Drumming. Most ancient traditions, they engage in drumming, dancing, chanting, even sitting with each other. They would read religious sermons, chant, they would do some group activities. by which we were connected, and our nervous systems as humans, we interact with each other when we sit with each other. So if I am upset or if I'm sad, if I sit in a group with other people, they will be able to hold or calm me down with their nervous systems. And that's what was happening. And that's what we have lost in our modern culture. But the thing is, we can all get it back. There's a picture of a massage here. A lot of body work is coming up these days. The energy medicine, body work. What happens with body work is, and there's a lot of literature available for that. As I said, our body keeps or stores all these emotions or all this which is not metabolized. In Kerala itself, Ayurveda and Ayurvedic massages are so popular. They help to heal the body. We give ourselves the permission to rest, they help to heal. Dancing, fantastic to release. And dancing as therapy is gaining popularity these days. Even yoga therapies, all these practices, they help to release from the cell level what's stored. Circles, humans would just sit in circles under the old banyan tree. There's a picture I get from India or Indian villages. They would just sit there and chat with each other, connect to each other, and that's how they would share their life, what all is happening, and we all can get it back. I'll go back to my slides where, there are 4 alienations of our modern life which are adding stress to us, or urbanization. The first of alienation is alienation from nature. Gone are the days when kids would be playing in mud, they'll get dirty, they would be climbing the trees. I believe in Kerala, my husband tells me a lot that he would climb the trees. That was a way of grounding. If a child has played well in childhood, this child is well grounded. There is a link and there are studies which have shown that our Wi-Fi systems, the more Alexas, Googles, and all those gadgets we get in the house, and the more electromagnetic radiations we have, we ourselves as humans are electrically charged. And the more of it we have in our surroundings, the more we tune out ADHDs, autisms, learning disabilities. And God bless us, our schools are all Wi-Fi now. What's happening to human culture? We all are made from elements of nature. Air, water, earth, fire is what made a human body. So we need to be in nature to ground ourselves. And how have we separated ourselves of nature? I don't have to tell you that. We are the species who have destroyed nature the most. Alienation from others. I spoke about it. We are meant to stay with each other. Whenever we do something for others, or whenever we are in groups, you can feel in your own bodies how expansive and aligned and happy you feel. And at the same time, when we are in competition or when I am against you, it feels tight in the body. And again, in our modern cultures, from the day in our schools we are taught, be the best, you have to be like that. You are best. There is and again, an infant or a 1-day-old doesn't have to be the best. He doesn't have to do anything for it because internally he knows it. For us to connect to ourselves or be with ourselves, we need to be in groups. Lots of people no longer trust others or have less contact, and COVID is aggravating this situation when we have less contact with each other. The world is more like a hostile place than a friendly place. And guess what? Internally, we take it. That's what is adding that unconscious stress in our lives. Again, alienation from work. I do understand that that to pay in this planet, we have to work to pay our bills, or pay our mortgages, or pay or live our lives. And in this process, not all of us would be doing work which has a purpose or meaningful, or they're passionate about their work. We go to work at times to pay the bills. But what happens with that is humans are created in the image of God. We are creative people. We are creative species. So when we are not fulfilled from our work, that causes an internal stress. What can be done about it is find some time, let it be 5 minutes a day or 10 minutes a day, where you can do something which really is, which you feel, where you feel alive, where you feel aligned with yourself. It could be volunteering, it could be gardening, it could be cooking, it could be anything, it could be painting, but something which gives you, which makes you feel alive. And then the other disconnect we have, I'm just going to move to the next slide. No, that's a wrong slide. One sec. Yeah. And the fourth alienation is alienation from ourselves. How many times have you asked yourself really the question, who am I? The timings which we are living today in our society, we have never, human species have never lived that flourished and that comfortably. And what happens is when all our comforts of life are met, the question comes, who am I here? Who am I? What am I here for? What is the purpose of life? And that alienation again comes in a, because we are trying to be something else. The messages we get from media or others, or our social media platforms and all that, is trying to be something else. We all have to have a particular body image. We all have to look like this. This is the house which is good. The external parameters of life. And it doesn't apply to all of us. Can you imagine if all the trees in a forest or they all started looking alike? How would it be? Look, we all are unique in ourselves. If every snowflake is different, how can we all look alike, be of the same size, live in the same way? No. That's what causes an internal stress, and that's what separates us from ourselves. Economy thrives on loss of meaning. That's how corporates work. When we have lost meaning to our lives, we find meanings in the types of homes we live, the gadgets we carry, the cars we drive, and so on and on. Nothing bad with it. It's we all have desires, which is fantastic. It's okay. But if we are filling the void or the emptiness of our lives, or the meaning of our lives with these external things, unfortunately, that's never filled. We need to be in connection with everything what's going around, especially we need to be a part of this human society or human companionship to fill ourselves. That brings me, okay, there's one more, responsibility. The whole purpose or intention of this presentation was not to blame, or sometimes I see in my practice that, if you have chronic conditions or some things are going on in your life, we resign and we say it's fortune, it's my destiny, that's how it happened. It's not about blaming ourselves or any destiny or anything around which caused it. It's about taking, the word responsibility came from response and ability. We have a capacity in ourselves to take responsibility of our health, and this is all about it. Our body is a very intelligent organism. It knows how to heal itself. Having more doctors, having more hospitals, having more specialties is not a measure of health in society. What is a measure of health in society is having less. Then we are a healthy society, we have less of all of it. And how can we have that? As I said, of the four things which we are separated from: connecting to ourselves, to nature, to our meaning and purpose in life, and most importantly, connecting to our body. Our body speaks to us. Most of us know of one brain we have here, which is fantastic, and I'm thankful that to that brain which works for me. It's our intellect. We rationalize things a lot. We have two more brains in us, the gut and the heart. 80 to 90% of our immune system is in the gut. It's called the second brain. And how it works in human beings is it's the gut which gives 70 to 80% of its messages to the brain. You all know about gut feelings, just when you meet someone, or you're about to maybe start a new project or be somewhere, you have a gut feeling or a deep knowing that whether you should do it or not. That's called a deep knowing or a gut feeling. And what happens if we ignore that gut feeling is we sometimes land up in trouble. We are disconnected from that gut or gut feelings. We suppress it. Even though I know it's not good for me, I'll suppress it or go for it. That's when the problem or the trouble lies. And the third is your heart, where we feel things. So when we conduct our lives, when we are doing our day-to-day businesses, just tune in with your body, the way we did in grounding today. Just tune in with your heart and say, how do I feel doing it? In your gut. We all know that queasy or the tummy upsets when we have anxiety, when we are having exams, when we are doing a presentation. I'm pretty calm at the moment. We are doing stuff like that. Don't ignore those symptoms or don't ignore those sensations. They say something to you. And we have to be quiet enough to listen to it. And once we listen to them, we know how to heal ourselves. When in your life are you, where in your life, sorry for that, where in your life are you saying yes that your body is saying no to? As a small child, if you try to, let's say you have a 2 or a 3-year-old, and we all have done it. If you shovel something in the child's mouth which the child doesn't like, the child would never have it. They know how to say no to ourselves, spit it out or just say, no, I'm not having it. The process of growing up or conditioning happens when culturally we stop saying no, because we have a fear that if I say no, I would be rejected, I won't be accepted, I'll be bad. So we stop saying no. And the same thing applies as we grow up. And the question is, where in your life are you saying yes, that your body is saying no? It's a beautiful, it's a blessing to be taught by Gabor Mate. Gabor Mate is a world-renowned author, a doctor, retired physician, and he has founded a methodology or a therapeutic approach which is called compassionate inquiry. As the name suggests, compassion inquiry is all about sitting with ourselves with compassion and just being with it and asking ourselves, what do I need? How can I fulfill it? If this presentation intrigues you and you would like to learn more about how our body speaks to us, I would like to read it. I would highly suggest his book, When the Body Says No. It has several case studies and presentations showing how our minds, how our unconscious beliefs unconsciously create illness for us. That brings me to the end of presentation. Thank you all of you for being here today. I really believe there is no random events in life. For us to be here together in this space, it has a bigger meaning. So thank you all for showing up. And thank you. This is my tech team sitting here. Thank you for the support in the family. We are celebrating Onam at a friend's place. Thanks for that. And going forward, I would really like to share all this and work in India. So I hope for all of you or any of you who are from India locally, I hope to see you in person one day. Thank you so much. And I'll stop the share. I don't know what time is it. How much time have I taken? I'm good with time, I believe. Yeah.
Some time for the questions if somebody want.
Yeah.
Hi, doctor. I have a question. So my name is Jitin. So my question is like listening to your session. The bigger concern we have is I have is like when it comes to work-related pressure. So all these things like saying no, competitive. This is all very much needed to kind of you need to have that drive there is even awards for having fire in the belly, which is
Yeah.
something which will contribute to your stress. So everything, alienation in work, universal stress factors which will lead to universal stress when you get your appraisal. So everything is there. So how do we manage? We have to kind of, now there is no going back, right? So we have to be in this competitive world and then try to sustain
Yeah.
ourselves. So
Exactly.
how can we manage stress?
How can we manage stress? As I said, Jitin. Am I saying your name right?
That's right.
Yeah. How do you say it? How do you
Pardon
say
me?
your name? How do you say your name?
Jitin, that's right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Jitin. I know we live in the planet. We need to do all these things. But as I said, we all perceive stress in different ways. Okay. And those different ways are some unconscious beliefs which we form. I can give you my example. Okay. It was never enough. I would keep enrolling for different courses, keep doing, I finish one post graduation, go to another, go to another, go to another. And once I'm done that, what's next for me? And that's because the internal belief, whatever I do, it's never enough. And where did I get that belief? That came somewhere from my childhood, right? What do I do with it? To first of all, to acknowledge what is my internal belief, what am I believing in this present moment. So my suggestion would be, when you are stressed, just ask yourself a question. Say, hey, what am I believing in this present moment? Because that belief is where your past comes up in the present. It's not an adult, whatever your age is, who is believing that. Because as my intellect, right, I'm 46 years old today. So as a 46-year-old, I understand that is enough. But it's that inner child or that belief in me, which I formed at 4 or 5 years of age, or probably younger than that, which makes me run through my life. So first of all, ask yourself, what am I believing in this present moment? Is it true? Is it really true? The second thing is, work is, if you really go through the chakras of human body, I hope maybe you know a little bit about it, or you know a lot about it. Work is our 14% of what we are as human beings. But again, with our liabilities or whatever, it takes all, I believe, 95% of our daily schedule. So at the end of the day or weekends, find 5 minutes. I would suggest every day 5 minutes or 10 minutes where you can do something which you love to do. Let's say you have everything in this world. You won $1 billion lottery or something. All that is done for you. What would you like to do then? Find something like that and add it to your schedule. That would really, and when you do that, just be with yourself in your body and see, how does it feel when I do it? For me, a typical Indian childhood, uh, studies and studies. My mom always thought art and all is, no, you're wasting your time. And I have done a lot of work on myself, and I find drawing, painting, very therapeutic for myself, like de-stressor. So I end of the day or weekends, I would just sit with colors, not with the intention of creating a masterpiece, but just play with it. Yeah, that's what I can say about it. I hope it was a bit helpful.
Oh yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Doctor. I want to ask a question about cultivating. Can I ask a question?
Yes, Sheila, you're most welcome.
Yeah. As you are saying that all these behaviors and what we are doing in the late life is also part how we were at childhood. So if you can give some suggestion to the young mothers or for my grandchildren now, how to cultivate, we always, when we are growing up, our parents have high ambitions about ourselves and push to the limit that we should do everything in the best way. And especially we hear, there we had all those supports at home and all other supports here, like individual single family
Right.
it's and the stress and everything. So is it, how do you advise the parents to bring up their children, and how do you limit or how do you say to set limits or set goals, and how, or to make them competitive, or how do you like
How do we
if you
set, how
don't
do we,
make them,
how about we just, you know what?
yeah.
This comes to the basic question again. When a child
Yeah.
is born for the first day in life, they're here for something. They know what they're here to do. It's we culturally, or we who feel that we need to do something about them. We need to teach them. But in fact, they are our teachers. If you have been with a small child, you see how present, how open they are, right? There's a beautiful book called The Conscious Parent by Shifali Sabari, where she talks that it's not us who's gone, because it's the question you asked me is how can young parents, or how can parents
Mhm.
be with it. Work on yourself. When your child is not doing the homework, or not being as you want him or her to be, just ask yourself, what's happening to me? What am I thinking? Because we think we have failed somewhere. Okay, that's my work, that's my belief. It says, hey, if my child is not getting it or doing it, I have failed. That's my work to be done. How we can heal our generations is by working on ourselves. I know it's very that's where the culture comes in, living in nuclear families, work and everything. How can we be present with our kids? It's where the culture, we have to as a society be with our governments or policy makers, asking for longer paid maternity leaves where a mother is stress free. The whole solution, I mean, I have kids in my practice with ADHD and all that, and when you talk to mothers, what is given is a gadget is given which would help the child learn something, or which would help the child read it. Now, in our own common sense, what does this child need? This child is tuning out, right?
Mm.
So, would the gadget help, or would a human being help? A human presence.
Mm.
That's how our nervous system regulate. So it's all about the bigger picture is about the society making a change and understanding it. It's the first 3 years of life of a child. If we have, if a mother is, Gabor has a definition of a mother or how it should be. It's a non-stressed, non-depressed mother. Where do we find those mothers in our modern society? Non-stressed, non-depressed. It took a village to raise a kid.
Yes.
It did, right?
Yeah.
What has happened now is not even one parent, unfortunately, because of the life they have to pay the bills, is present with the kid. And then we are asking, why is this kid has learning disabilities or ADHDs? So if we can support as grandparents, mothers, if we can support those mothers so that they can be with the kids, that's one thing about it. And the other thing is, if we have done a work on ourselves, if I my worth is not what my kids will do on this planet. I'm not looking there. That's not where my worth will come from. They could be anything they want to be. That's not, and knowing that they know it. They know what they want to be. They know trusting the process. And we all parents want kids not to fall down. We want to save them so that they don't. You know what, Sheila? It doesn't happen. They came to this world for something. You are hindering their growth by overprotecting them. And I myself I know that my mom did all, everything is set for you. There is nothing to, but no, life takes a turn, and let them fall down. They learn from it. But what happens is that when they fall down, as a parent, be there for them. Be present with them, so that they know you're there. But we can't stop, we can't sort it out all from them for them. That's what we are trying to do as human species, is figure it out all for kids.
Hmm.
This is how it should be. No, this is where, so we need to learn, not them. They know it. Trust them.
Okay. Thank you.
And That Conscious Parent is a beautiful book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Any other questions? No questions? Okay, thank you.
I think there is a question in the chat. So a question.
Can I read the chat? Where is? I can't pull it myself.
Yeah.
Within please read it.
Yeah.
Yeah. A question: to relax, decompress, or let off steam after a day's work. Can you cite some de-stressors?
Can I talk to the person who asked this question? It would be nice to engage with.
I think he has some trouble to kind of
Yeah.
ask.
Okay. A question to relax, decompress, let off steam. Wow,
After
there is a lot of steam, I think.
unwind. I would say to unwind also.
Well, it's a personal question. It's you have to figure it out for yourself. How do you decompress? What is it which is relaxing from you? For some people, I know, like, a weekend comes in and social engaging, meeting friends, socializing is relaxing. To others, it could be just sitting around, reading a book, a painting, whatever. So I really don't have an answer to say this is the set formula for relaxing. It's different. Music works for some, dance works for some, painting, but it's for you to figure it out what relaxes you. And that would happen if you are able to say no to certain commitments and you find time to relax. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. No more questions? There's 2 questions in the chat, I think, Nitin, right?
I found only this question and that's it.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor. This is a wonderful
Thank
section.
you so much. Yeah.
And let me invite Mr. Jitin for the water thanks.
Thank you, President Kurian Prakanamji. Thank you, Dr. Priya. So it was indeed a wonderful session. We all have this thought in our hearts that if you don't compete, you don't count. And every day going by, that's just, the tempo is just increasing for that. And we kind of inject that into our kid as well. So it's definitely an eye opener. It's definitely sometime like how we started the session, tuning our body, our mind and body, and then understanding the connection. So similarly, it was a good few moments. We took time. We tried to understand ourselves. We tried to we have alienated a lot. So we took some time to kind of
We can always go back. It's easy.
right. So it definitely helped to kind of take a pause, reflect back, and then try to understand. So it was an awesome session. Thank you so much. It was immense help. And that too, I work for a US, company with a US holiday. So it's a state holiday on Monday. So it gives me 3 days to now reflect back, unwind myself. And to try all this, so it gives me sufficient time as well. So hopefully everybody who watched this or attended this, and we do have a large audience who will watch our recorded session. So I hope everyone benefits from this. My wife couldn't join, so this is something I'll go and show her as well, because we have a 5-year-old, so we both cannot attend at the same time. So thank you so much, Doctor. It was really a valuable session. Once again, thanks to our President, Priya Duggal, for ensuring that the session happens every week after week. That's a great leadership. Thank you so much. And then thanks to Sajib Koya, who did the welcome speech. Thanks to our chair of the meeting, Mr. Yogesh. And then thanks to Sanjay, who is our backbone of our infrastructure. So we should call him the infrastructure minister of Brampton Malayali Samaj. So, or there could be like 2 departments he's handling. He's handling infrastructure as well as IT. So thank you, Sanjay, once again, and thanks everyone. Thanks everybody for watching this. Thank you all, and have a beautiful Saturday. Take your time.
Thank you all. And I leave it saying, your kids know what to do. Less is more when it comes to parenting. The less we do, the more we step back and let them take the charge, and we just support them. They are fantastic. They are tare zameen par. Take care of themselves. Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you, Priya. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Thank
I'll
you.
take a leave. Bye, everyone.
Are you ready for join, Sanjeev? Okay, Sanjeev?
Am I good to leave? Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, so Facebook Live stopped,
Yeah, that's good.
recording stopped.